Hey everyone, how are we doing? Hope everyone had a nice weekend. Sorry I missed the stream on Friday. Was an incident at work. Basically, went on until 4 a.m. and last night until 3 a.m. So not the most fun weekend, but you know, here we are. So I think we're gonna continue with HackSmarter today, and I'm going to do a lab called BankSmarter. So let me just update that title. There we go. Also, if you join their Discord, there's a coupon code there that basically gives you a free month until tomorrow. I think the discount code expires tomorrow, so it's somewhere in their announcements. So go in there, get the free month, have a play around, see how it goes. Right, let's connect to the HackSmarter VPN. Nope. There we go. And I fixed my IP address. It's now showing the correct IP address. Now, we do have an IP address, but I have not created my target yet, so okay. So our target today is BankSmarter with an IP address of 10.0.16.64. Let's run our initial scan. Oh, I actually wanted to run a scan with Rust scan. Someone told me about the tool, and but let's add that. Just adding it to my notes now, so we can publish the write-up as well. So up until now we have port 22, but let's close that. Let's run a Rust scan. Let's see, how do we run a Rust scan? This is my first time using the tool, so bear with me. Attack A. Let's just run a simple scan. Okay, so basically it just found port 22. That's not much to go on. some reason my screenshots don't copy properly. There we go. There's just port 22, and we don't have any information in terms of users or anything of that sort at the moment. Anything on UDP? This is gonna take a while. Yeah, so the nmap scan did not finish for all ports. Well, at least we know it's Ubuntu Linux. We don't know exactly. Okay. Let's try to run an nmap scan, because this one doesn't seem to return anything. Nmap tech su tech t4 tech oa udp. Oh, come on. Okay, well, bye bye Ruscan. It doesn't have a, at least from what I can see here, it doesn't have a verbose issue. I don't like that. I need to be able to see some output to know that it's not actually stuck. And basically this will also create the output file for us so we can have it for later if we need to come back to it. But let's see. Yeah, at least we have SSH open on TCP, which should be useful once we get something going. Yeah, same data as we have from nmap, nothing there. Nice. So netexec has AWS credentials dumping. We won't be running that because, of course, we're not interested in that. We're just waiting for the UDP now to finalize, hopefully, this year. In the meantime, have you guys seen the canister worm issue that was going about? Let me see if I can bring it up. It's basically a malware that spreads from package to package. Let's open up a browser here. So this one, basically, there was a problem with Trivy. Trivy is a container image scanner for vulnerabilities. They've managed to compromise that one, and through that one they stole credentials to other packages, and now they're spreading from package to package. And what they're doing is every time that package is installed on any server, it captures all the credentials and it goes to their server. So at the moment they have 58 packages that were already infected with this, and it's still ongoing. We had a similar issue last year with Shai Hulud. It was a very similar instance of a worm spreading through the network. But yeah, if you are using any kind of JavaScript packages from that, keep that in mind. Oh, come on. I do think that UDP should be banned on hacking sites because it's very, very slow. So let's have a look at Rust scan in the meantime. Does it have an output configuration or anything like that? Okay, so basically we can pass arguments to ruscan directly. That's interesting. So we could do, in theory, tac A, tac OA, rust UDP. Oh. And that should create an output. No, it did not. Let's do the U limit stuff that they're talking about. Okay, let's let nmap finish, because ruscan seems to be a bit rusty. I think probably for next Friday I will try to do a hard box from HackSmarter. There are quite a few there, so should be good. Thank you for the contribution. Where are we? 34% raised. Okay. Still a bit to go. Come on. It's like waiting for the grass to grow. The problem is, we cannot really do much until we actually get some other ports to work with, because I don't want to go ahead and brute force SSH without actually having any users or passwords. There we go. So we do have a port open on UDP. Why did it quit? Oh. Anyway. P161. Let's see what this is. SNMP. Okay. Right. Let's take some screenshots. So we have SNMP, which is Simple Network Management Protocol, if I'm not mistaken. And I should have a tool called snmpwalk to extract data from it. Yeah. snmpwalk. Catalog is public by default. 2C, I think, if I remember correctly, and then we have the IP address, which is, yeah. Let's clear that up because we don't need that anymore. Just looking for anything that might stand out. I should have outputted to a file, shouldn't I? But I'll just copy it when it's done. There are tools that can translate all the ISO codes. SNMP. Would be good if I could remember it, but let me check my notes. There's also SNMP. Oh, there we go. We're already getting some information. That's interesting. Let's take a screenshot of that because that looks like a custom script in opt, so we know where to go from when we get access to the box. Okay, so it's an EC2 instance. We won't run any cloud collectors then, because we don't want to try to break out of that. That's not in scope for this pen test. Right, let's have a look at the start so we can take some screenshots. while that's running. We seem to have a username and a password here. Now let's copy that to we haven't validated the credentials yet, so I'm just gonna add it there and keep looking through this before we go any further, because we already know it's running just from the SNMP walk. We know that there are scripts running from opt bank, which is good to know because we can always leverage custom scripts. Okay, so that's installed packages and app versions for the Linux. This might actually come in handy. And I'm saying that from a privilege escalation perspective. Maybe one of these packages has something that we can exploit. Yeah, but that's a long list and it's not done yet. Okay. Well, while that is still running, let's see. We don't know if how that user is set up under the Linux system. So let's use we can use a tool called name. Oh, let me see. That's the one. Namemash. Let's go to loot directory. So opt namemash users to generated users, and that will give us a list of potential users. It's a very simple Python script that does the combination. I'm just too lazy to do it manually. So okay, and we do pass. We copy this password in here and nxc ssh generated users that we pass. Basically, what we're doing is trying a brute force attempt to see if we can SSH into that box with any of the users that we have. I wonder if the quote is actually included in the password or not. Let me do that. And we could use Hydra. I think Hydra might be a bit faster. Okay, so Hydra tech L generated users tech P SSH there we go. So it was without the quote. That's good. Right, so let's okay. Does that mean we actually have SSH access now? It does, because that's what we just validated there. And that's Mr. Stanley's password. So SSH lane Stanley at 10.0.16.64. And there we go. We now have SSH access. And this one is still going. Okay. Well, let's let it run while we still investigate, but I want to have a look at that. Okay, we don't have access to read it just yet. Not a problem. We have a user flag. Yes, we do. And a bash script. Oh, a bash script that's owned by someone else. Right, let's get the user flag. There we go. Thank you for the follow, Frankie. Okay, so that's done basically. The SNMP is walk is done. We have read access into this script, so that's good. The bash history is empty. I don't have a vim info. Depending on where you are on your yes, so it's all in a virtual machine. As you can see, it's all virtual machines everywhere. I would not recommend you install Kali on bare metal unless you're very capable with Linux. So at the moment I'm doing a box from HackSmarter. I've started using this platform about a week and a bit ago. It's quite good. You also have Hack the Box, you have Try Hack Me, you have Proving Grounds from Offensive Security. It depends what you want to do. But what all of them have in common, they will give you a VPN and you will attack only the targets on that VPN. Meaning, even if you do a mistake, you are within that environment. You're not going to go and, I don't know, attack Google by mistake. So it's a safe way to practice. Okay, so you have an MBA. That's good. So do you have access to Hack the Box, for example? Because they do have free boxes there as well. And Try Hack Me has free content. I'm not sure if you're limited by what you can and cannot access, but I think Hack the Box and Try Hack Me should be okay. If not, see if you can go on this website. Right, so we've run SNMP walk. I do want to copy all the output. Actually, no, I don't. I don't think we need it. And we have it in here anyway, if we need to reference it. Yeah, so compared to other platforms, their pricing is not that bad. So I think I've paid like £10 or something like that for their lab section. Not for the courses, I just wanted the lab section. And if you sign up today, you get a month free. If join their Discord, they've posted a coupon in there that you can use. Okay. You're very welcome. Right, let's see what this script actually does. So it exports to temp bank exports, customer exports, and it creates a CSV file. John admin, finance, and Jane teller. Those are potential users. but we can check Etsy password in a second to see what's going on in there as well. Okay, so this one just goes through dummy accounts and creates a CSV file in that backup folder. Okay, so there's nothing in here that would allow us directly to exploit. So let's see, running processes. Okay. I'm gonna transfer over linps and pspy to see. Actually, I need a second SSH. And I want a second SSH because I want to run pspy to see if there are any cron jobs, because there was that weird Python script from opt. So actually, yeah, we do get HTTP 10.200.41.156 pspy 64. But I will run that after I run linps, because linps will generate a lot of actions in pspy and I don't want that polluted. One, 5, 6. And I said we don't want to run anything cloud related because we know already that it's a EC2 instance. So that means we need to remove cloud from there. There we go. Now let's check the output. So at the moment I'm just looking for anything that stands out from a normal system. Yeah, we only have SSH listening on the box. This confirms it. It's even internally, it's only SSH. Okay, so we have Ronnie Stone, we have Stanley and Wayland as well as users with consoles, and Ubuntu, but Ubuntu is used by AWS, so we are not gonna touch that. I do want to take a screenshot of that, however. Oh. That's a potential privilege escalation there. As I said, I am very mindful of what commands I run for the actual AWS environment, because I don't want to be too invasive and start scanning metadata, IP addresses and stuff like that. It's a CTF that's based only on this box. So we have another file that we can execute and read. Let's see, can we read it? Yes, we can. And it's owned by root. Well, we can execute it and read it. This is interesting. So here's the thing: if you use bash scripts and you set user bin env python 3, this is a path injection. This is considered a path injection because I could just do path equals tmp path and execute that script, and if I have a Python 3 binary in there, that will get executed first, before going to the normal Python 3. That's why whenever you write a bash script and it needs to be executed via Python, you do Python 3 and you set, instead of using user bin env, you set it to Python 3 directly. But that doesn't help us at the moment, because even if we execute it now, it will still execute as our user, not as root. So let's continue digging. Let me take a screenshot of that, because I don't have one. No, I don't. Okay, so we have this script, and we know this is storing stuff in temp file. If we look at the script here, bank exports, let's have a look there. Okay, so it's empty. Let's run pspy now, because my suspicion is this script will get executed by Scott, and because let's have a look. pspy. Okay, so this is the script that we've seen in snmpwalk as well. That's at the PTY server, but what about the backup script from our home folder? It does get executed. There we go. But what user ID executes it? So that's 102. Okay, so it executes what, every minute? Yes. So it executes every minute ID. And it's not executing with our user because we're user ID 1001 and that's 1002. Yeah, so Scott is actually executing that script. Good. Now, we know that Scott is executing that script, and we know that we know his username, which means let's see. Right. SSH keygen tech. No. There we go. So SSH keygen. Basically, what I want to do is generate a new do I want to generate a new SSH key? Because that might overwrite his SSH key for later on. No, let's not generate a new SSH key. Let's try to copy our SSH key to his home folder to known hosts. So echo into, what was his username? Home. Six. Right. Let me copy that. Let's do this here. So we have run pspy there. So we have we know when the script executes. We have bank.sh. So what we can do is move this one to backup. Bank.sh to BankSmarter backup, and we do chmod +x bank and chown. No, chmod 777. Everyone gets access to that script. So this is basically our own script. This is the backup one that we've created. Okay, so it did execute, which means if everything worked as expected, we should be able to do at 10, what was the IP address? 0, 16, 64. And it did not accept the key. Okay, that's not a problem. Instead of doing that, what we can do is cp home ssh tmp so copy everything to temp and then chmod tmp scott ssh. And that basically will give us, if he has any private keys, we will get it from there. Okay, so it did not execute. Maybe he doesn't have an SSH folder. Okay, let's go back to the original script, but instead of doing that, okay, let's wait for that to run again. So I'm trying to recreate the SSH directory and place my SSH key into the authorized keys file, so we can SSH as, there we go, let's see. Nope, that still didn't work. Okay, you know what? Let's just try to get the reverse shell. There we go. So that should give us a reverse shell on 8443. There we go. What am I using 84434 for? Okay. No more 8443. There we go. Right, so nano bank. Bin bash rev 8443 in a separate process, and let's execute that. There we go. So basically, we've managed to get the shell back as Scott. And apparently we're in a group with Ronnie here. Let's see. We also have a bash history. So there is an SSH folder in here. Let's verify. Oh, let's there we go. And then we need to move the backup back to the original one, because otherwise we keep getting reverse shells every minute, and we don't really want that. We have one. I think that's fine. bash history. So we have a socat here. Let's take a screenshot of that. Can we read that now? Yes, we do, because we're in the same group as Ronnie here. That means we can read these files. Finally, we got this when we started enumerating SNMP, and now we finally get to read it. Okay, so using this socket, so using this live socket, we will basically get a bash as Ronnie, because that allows us to proxy all the traffic with socat to that file, and that's owned by Ronnie. That's nice. So, where is it? That's what we need to do. And we're Ronnie. Not sure what we're gonna do with Ronnie yet. But this looks like the path. Okay, let's see. We are bank team. User IDs, Ronnie. We're Tmox share, Tmox user, and bankers. Okay. There is an SSH folder in here. Known hosts. Right. Let me. I think we can close PSPy now. And actually exit from there. Can we just do... Okay. That shell does not want to work properly. Okay, so we have the authorized keys. Let's see if we can actually SSH in properly. No, it's still not accepting it. Why isn't the... Is it because my... Okay, that screwed it up. It's Ubuntu 24. Maybe known host, maybe SSH keys like this are not allowed. EC2 instance configuration maybe. Doesn't matter. It does not matter because we can do... Oh, I'm using 8443 already in here. Right, so TMP 8443. Okay. Why do we get an invalid session from... Well, you know what? Doesn't really matter at this stage. No, we can do interact with one. We can get that. Wait, we had that Python script and user bin, didn't we? But who's executing that? Bank. Okay. Hey, Flora. No, I should not have. Let me check. Thank you for following. Let me just check the stream restrictions. I don't think I have anything. No. Thank you for the follow, everyone. And thank you for the raid, Flora. Did you manage to get the root flag in the end? Nice. It is a nice box. Welcome, raiders. So, just a bit of a background. Okay, I see what's going on. Stream Elements is being annoying. Thank you for the follow, everyone. No, for some reason it did not like that. Give me just a second. Yeah, too many caps. Sorry, Flora. Well, I think he was sending too many caps as well, and he got timed out as well. Sorry. I need to change the settings on my bot there. I'll do that off stream. I'm not gonna spend time now. Yeah, go ahead. It's not my bot at the moment, so test it out. But you got timed out, so sorry about that. Right, so I'm actually doing... I'll check the settings on the bot after the stream anyway. I'm doing BankSmarter from HackSmarter. That's good. We've managed to get the shell and we've managed to do a lateral move. Basically, we had to do SNMP walk because there's only port 22 on TCP updates, and we scanned UDP, found SNMP there. We did SNMP walk, as you can see here. Yes. One more follower to hit 80. So we found a password in SNMP walk for Stanley here. But funny enough, I don't think I have that command enabled. Yeah, he's probably salty because of the timeout. Yes. Thank you, Peter. I need that. I turn into a shrimp. And thank you for the follow. There we go. We've reached 80. So yes, we've yes, he is. Don't stop pestering xablesec. He was already following, don't worry. Oh, it's fine. No, so this is a HackSmarter challenge. I'll paste the link. So this is BankSmarter from HackSmarter. It's a Linux box. I think it's a medium one. Basically, you get 2 ports open to start off with. You get one on TCP, and then you have SNMP on UDP. That took ages even for the nmap to finish. So it took about 10 minutes just to scan to see what ports we have open there. But we found some credentials that work on SSH. And from there on, we've managed to move laterally. Let me just... So we've managed to move laterally to scott.weiland here. Because in our home folder, we actually have a script, BankSmarter, which is owned by Scott, and we've ran pspy to see what cron jobs are running, and that was being executed every minute. So we've created in TMP, we've done basically a simple bash reverse shell, and we've modified the script in our home folder to actually point to that, and that was it. We managed to get the shell back as Scott. Now, as Scott, we have a bash history file here. And we've seen the socat Unix socket, and we can execute that and that will give us basically a shell as ronnie. Now, previously, when we've done enumeration, we've seen some interesting binaries in user bin that are related to this, that allow basically a path injection for a Python script. So let me go back to my notes. So that was in user local bin. So my default is Kali. Thanks for lurking. So I'm using Kali as my attack VM, Flora. I've tried Parrot, but it had issues with the graphics, and it was lagging very badly on workstation. Okay. Thank you for the follow. So with a programming game dev, what languages did you use? Thanks, Flora. Thanks for the raid and for the chat. See you soon. So, C#. We actually use quite a C# in pen testing as well. If for example, let's do sharp collections. This is a repo with a lot of tools that you use on pen tests and red team engagements. They're all written in C# because it's one of the easiest way to execute code on a Windows system. Once you get a C2 framework running and you have a beacon in there, you can basically inject assemblies quite easily, and C# is very useful for that. But stick around and we'll turn your game dev experience into pen testing. Thank you for the follow. I cannot keep up with the followers this evening. Too many. Okay, so that's interesting. So there's a bank backup D service that's under user local bin, and it's owned by root, but the bankers group has access to it as well. Also, as I said previously, this is the script that we previously found in the enumeration with the low-level user that we had. And this is basically a path injection right there. Because you can set the path to whatever directory you have access to, you can create a Python 3 script in there, and that will get executed. Thank you for the follow. Now, so that's the Python script. What type of file is that? Okay. Let's do the socat thing again. So we're Ronnie and we do ID. Are we? Yes, we are. We are the in the bankers group, which basically gives us execute access over that backup. Yeah. I'm trying to explain the steps that I'm going through. So even just watching a few streams from Flora or what I'm doing, or any other people that are streaming hacking content, and you'll literally pick stuff up. And then if you want, you can do something like over the wire or try hack me or hack the box even to start doing more stuff. Why were you... Okay, I need to... give me just a second, because this is getting out of hand. There we go. Sorry about that. Yes, you were too eager with your message there. Right. So we are in the group bankers. That's an SUID binary, which means it will preserve the group ID that's running it and the user ID. Now, that means we can execute this. Okay, so that's a Linux binary that we cannot read, but what we can do is, I just want to see if this one actually executes that Python script. If it does, oh yeah, it does. Okay. That's good. So that executes that Python script. This SUID binary will execute Python script, which means if we set the path and we create a Python 3 binary and execute it from there, we should get another shell back as root. Let's see. So no, I need TMP rev 8443 Python 3. That should be, yeah, that's fine. Python 3. I need a different port, so let's use 8444. Then we do path equals TMP, and that's it. And we can execute user local bin bank backup, but we need to execute this in the context of Ronnie. There we go. And we are root. Oh, I've overwritten the path variable for the root, so we need to do oh. There we go. So we have the root flag here. So that was an interesting root exploit. Basically, we went from a Unix socket to a different user. So it was a lateral movement using that. And from there on out, we went from through a path injection into an SUID binary. That gave us root. So now, because I do want to keep good notes, so it works because I'm overriding. Let's do an example. So in Linux, you have a path variable, and you have that in Windows as well. That tells the operating system where to look for specific software, right? So if I do path, this is my path. And as you can see, it's separated by a colon here. Each folder contains different applications that the system will use. So if I do which Python 3, That's user bin. So that would be, where is it? User bin, there. So that tells the operating system, go to user bin and find Python 3 when I just execute Python 3, right? Now, because, let's close that. No, that closed my process. Doesn't matter, we can open that again. User local bin. When you create a Python file or a bash script, this tells the operating system what to execute. In this particular... Yeah, it is experience as well, but there is a logic to what to follow as well. Because, for example, this one, to me, screams path injection. Because Python 3 is not set as a predefined path. It's not user bin Python 3. Okay. Well, don't clip it, okay? So this is not a script that I wrote. So bank backup.py was on the server to begin with, and I knew to use Python 3 because of this. So this is the contents of that script, and I use Python 3 because it's referenced here. That's why I've set Python 3 in my temp file, and then I've just set path equals temp to tell the script. Thank you for the follow, the foof plus. Yes, so this is the first line in the file, and it tells the system how to execute that particular file. If we look at the thank you. So this script has the same problem here. It's using the Python 3 from the environment. We are doing a hacking challenge, Linux box from HackSmarter. But we've actually just completed it. We've got the root flag. I was just going over what steps we've executed. So, and I've created Python 3 here so that the system will actually reference the Python 3 binary that I've created instead of the system one. It depends. Normally, if the solution is created properly, it will have one valid exploitation path that you need to find. But we have seen instances of hack the box challenges that have unintended paths. What that means is you get low-level user and you don't follow what the box creator intended you to follow. You find basically a 0 day for the box. That was not planned. It is, but it does. It's not. It won't always work. If the box is created in a decent way, it tries to guide you through a specific learning process or a specific exploit or CV that was released recently, and that way you will have to do. Yes, but it all depends. As I said, if the hardening of the system is done properly, you won't find a different way to attack it. So, for example, I had a box on stream, which was a hard box from Hack the Box. The certificate expired on the Active Directory, and that was the only way to actually exploit the box. There was no other way to get. Yes. So all solutions are valid. They don't you don't get scores or anything for how you solve the box as long as you get the contents of user.txt and root.txt. Now, so in general, depending on the platform, but yeah, the root flag and the user flag are going to be generated per user. And I know that from Hack the Box, if you... So for example, when you spawn up the machine, it generates the flags, and then if you save the user flag, for example, on your attacking machine and submit it after you've resetted the machine again, the flag will be incorrect. So the flags are stored for the duration of the machine that's running, and each user gets their own machine. So yeah, flags are individual. I think HackSmarter have some free stuff as well. But they do have, if you join their Discord, they have a discount code that give you a free month for all lab challenges. It's only valid until tomorrow, so if you want, go to their website, join their Discord, and get that free month now. Yes, that's actually I do store solutions, and for me, let me show you. So this is how I store my solutions. Basically, I create write-ups of everything that I do step by step, which allow me to recreate the steps or go back through commands and see what I have done and what I need to do later. Yeah, that's Obsidian. And of course, after that, I post all the write-ups on my website, so you can find every single box that I've done on stream on the website there. So yeah, I was just writing the privilege escalation step now. Well, I've started doing these write-ups, more detailed write-ups when I started streaming, But even before, I was taking a lot of notes when I was doing OSCP or other certifications. It helps me memorize the commands better and the tooling that's used around those commands. Yes, and also, if you're doing a live pen test for a company or a red team, you need to produce reports for them, right? Yes, exactly. And on a for example on a red team engagement, you need to detail every single step that you've took to get to that point, so that you're able to recreate the same scenario over and over again afterwards when you're doing purple team exercises. And that would be step-by-step walkthrough from your report with the SOC team sitting beside you saying, why haven't I detected this action? Well, you should have an EDR running there that will send you the logs. But and that's something that you need for those sort of roles. You need very detailed documentation of what you have done. So there are a few that I'm not sure about EDRs in particular. Yeah, exactly. So let me first go to the EDR solution. I know there are some pro labs in Hack the Box that have EDRs. Ifrit is one of them. If I remember correctly, it has elastic EDR on it. It's not the most sophisticated EDR, but it will prevent some challenges to bypass. And it does more than what Defender does. Now, for the pass that you need to take, depending on what software is running on the machine and depending on the machine itself, yes. Port 80, you would do directory brute force. You would do SQL injections. You would do IDORs. You would do server-side request forgery, depending on the technology that's running on that machine and that on that port. So, for example, for SNMP, you would start with empty username and password enumeration. So either empty or guest account to see if you're allowed to view any shares there. If you do, you usually get some documents or something from there that would allow you to move forward. I tend to do them mostly from experience. I don't necessarily remember the exact command that I need to run for a specific action. Good night, and thank you for the follow again. So as I said, I don't remember I don't memorize the exact command because you've got hundreds and hundreds of tools, if not thousands of tools, that you need to run for any specific engagement. But I know what the tools should be doing, so I select the tools based on the desired outcome that I need from that. So for example, Penelope is one tool that I have never used before. I started using it today, and I quite like it. It seems a bit like what to call it, Meterpreter, but for very basic shells, and it will upgrade your shell automatically. yes, there are some tools. Those are some tools that do very specific actions. So, for example, one very very useful one that you use mostly all the time, if it's in here, seatbelt. So if we go to GitHub, it's basically a Windows enumeration tool. It will go through a lot of different registries, files, and check for passwords, DP-API credentials, and a lot of other things. It does this for you automatically. Instead of you having to go and do it manually, you run one command and it will give you a few pages of output with data that you can then sort through and get what you need. But yeah, those are tools that are in your arsenal to use on a day-to-day basis. So sharp collections for Windows exploitation, I would definitely recommend to have. There's also linps and other tools that you would use. But if you want to learn more, the best way that I found to do that was to go and actually do the get an easy box or a learner path from Try Hack Me and start from there, because there are rooms, and I think even HackSmarter has rooms that will take you from zero knowledge into pen testing and cybersecurity to actually getting your first root. And I cannot state this enough. When you get your first box, your first shell or root on a box, it's exhilarating, and it tends to be a bit addictive for some people, especially if you have tendencies for a bit of ADHD or a bit of TISM. It gets addictive. Right, let me finish my notes, because I'm gonna need to stop the box, and I want to finish my notes because I don't have the root section for my notes. It depends what you want to do. If you like game dev, do game dev. But also, on game dev, there is cybersecurity involved there as well. The amount of cheats that you get, it's quite impressive. And some of the... Well, learning how to pen test is not a skill that I would say would be unuseful anywhere. So it's very useful to have this. And as I said, even for game dev, knowing that someone might break into the game and give themselves extra lives, or have an aimbot or anything of that sort going on, knowing how to break applications teaches you how to secure them as well. Right, there we go. And we are root again. Even for single player games, if you would ever want to have a leaderboard or anything like that, yeah. So hosting servers on your own, you need to know a bit of networking. You need to know about security to be able to secure those servers. Okay, well, the box is done. We have the root flag. Yep. As I said, I'm happy to help. You can join the Discord. I'm usually in front of a computer most days. If not, I'm on my phone. So if you need any help with anything, happy to help. Just jump on the Discord server and you'll find me there. So I can help. Now, I think, yeah, since we're done with the box, do you have any other, does anyone else have any other questions? I need to drink something because my throat is getting dry. I will be streaming again Wednesday. I normally stream Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. With Friday usually being a much longer stream. I try to do hard boxes on Fridays. The rest of the time, medium, easy boxes depending on what I find. There we go. So we've finished the box. We have go for it. Maybe, who knows, maybe you'll like it and you're gonna say, oh, this is more interesting than game dev. Yep. I just saw your comment about spending time developing the game and using third-party functionality. For most of the stuff that's out there, I would agree. Um, you need, and the companies that provide this type of hosting, they will have proper security teams and proper monitoring in place as well, because it's not just, well, I wouldn't call it procrastinating if you're learning something new. Not really. Who knows? Maybe you'll do a few boxes and you'll get an idea for a game out of it involving cybersecurity. There was a game a long time ago that would emulate you hacking into stuff. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember I used to love it as a kid. But that was way back in the day. Right. So I think I'm gonna be done for today. As I said, I'm gonna be back on Wednesday. So let's pass Flora's raid to someone else as well. Let's see who is streaming. So still LARPing as a criminal, right? Okay, I'm trying to find someone to raid, but cybersecurity does not have that many channels today. Oh, thank you for the follow. We were just about to raid someone because we're done with the box. So I'll pass you on to someone that does game development. So yes, I do use a VM. I use Kali as my attacker VM basically, and the subsystem I'm still on Linux. I switched from Windows about fully to Linux about what 4 or 6 months ago, something like that. But yeah, I use VMware Workstation to host a VM for that. You can run VMware on Windows and run a Linux system inside of there. I know people that do all these type of challenges from a Windows system, but I would not recommend that you run them from your main system. Always use a VM. And why I'm saying that, even Hack the Box is saying, remember, this might be a hostile environment, because you connect to that VM, to that VPN network, other people connect to it as well. And you might get someone that says, okay, you know what, I'm tired of doing the challenges, I'm just gonna try and find someone to hack. That's also possible. It's against the rules, against every single platform's rules to do that. And that's why it's much safer to do it from a VM. So when you start a challenge, it will give you an IP address. Every single box that you boot up and try hack me or hack the box will say this is the IP of the box, and that's what you're trying to scan and attack. You're not gonna do a full IP range or anything of that sort. You trust that the platform that you're using is giving you the correct IP address, yes. If not, then that's their problem, not yours. Okay, none of my usual contenders for raids are up here, so I'm gonna let you go with a game development stream. So, thank you everyone for watching. Hope to see you guys again. And Have a nice rest of the evening.